Research Vessel Scientific Pursuit of Knowledge. Galactic date 7249.39. Chief researcher Zalax adjusted his optical sensors for the third time, certain there must be some malfunction in the equipment. The readings couldn't possibly be correct. The human vessel before them was, by any reasonable scientific standard, its hull was punctured in 17 places. Life support was operating at 12 in efficiency, and the only power signature came from what appeared to be an emergency battery designed in the equivalent of their Stone Age. Update the observation log, he chittered to his assistant. Day 1, Cycle 0. We have encountered what appears to be a damaged human transport vessel, designation SS Stubborn Mule. Initial scans indicate conditions incompatible with sustained life. However, he paused, mandibles clicking in confusion. Life signs detected. 3 of them. The monitoring screen showed 3 humans moving inside the vessel. They appeared to be, well, Sarah Chen said, staring at the rapidly expanding constellation of warning lights on her medical bay console. This is what I believe the technical term for is nutterly screwed. She grabbed her medical kit as the ship shuttered again. Anyone else want to appreciate the irony that we were transporting medical supplies when we got— Commander James Rodriguez's voice crackled over the intercom, somehow managing to sound cheerful despite the circumstances. East but a scratch, Dr. Chen. Maya's already working on. A loud crash interrupted him, followed by creative cursing in 3 languages. Working on what? Exactly? Sarah asked, making her way to the bridge while keeping one hand firmly on the wall. Our imminent demise? On saving our collective behinds with the power of science and whatever I can find in the supply closet. Maya Patel's voice joined the conversation. Also, Commander, sir, with all due respect, if you quote that movie one more time, I'm using our last roll of medical tape to seal your mouth shut instead of the hull breach in Section 7. The ship groaned ominously as Sarah reached the bridge. Through the viewport, she could see the debris field from the micro-meteorite collision spinning lazily past them. Commander Rodriguez sat in the captain's chair, bleeding from a small cut on his forehead but grinning like this was all perfectly normal. Status report, he said, dabbing at the cut with his sleeve despite Sarah's disapproving glare. Medical bay's gone dark. Sarah reported, already pulling out antiseptic wipes. Hold still, you walking liability. Most of our supplies were in the section that got hit. All I've got is my personal kit and whatever Maya hasn't stolen for her repairs. I can hear those air quotes. Dr. Shen. Maya's voice echoed through the ship. And I'll have you know that butterfly bandages make excellent emergency circuit connectors. Sarah closed her eyes and counted to 10. That's not how any of this worked. And yet Maya replied with what Sarah could hear was a manic grin. The secondary power coupling is now functioning at 30 Cassidy. Science Research Vessel Scientific Pursuit of Knowledge. Present? Absolutely not. Senior Observer Krillok stated firmly. All 4 arms crossed in the universal gesture of disapproval. The protocols are clear. This is a unique opportunity to observe human survival strategies in an extreme environment. But they're using medical supplies as engineering components. Junior researcher Vextra protested, her scale shifting to a distressed shade of purple. I've reviewed their technological database. Those items aren't designed for structural repairs, precisely why this is so fascinating. Xylax interjected, not taking his eyes off the monitor. The human engineer was now apparently using something called gauzy to filter atmospheric contaminants. Their solution set appears to completely ignore the established laws of physics, engineering, and basic common sense. Yet, he gestured at the life sign readings, which remained frustratingly. The observation team watched in collective horror as the medical officer used her emergency scanner to diagnose a problem with the ship's navigation system, then proceeded to fix it by, as she put it, percussive maintenance with a certified medical device. The human capacity for improvisation has been documented before, Krillax noted, but this is beyond previous parameters. Their medical officer is currently using devices designed for monitoring vital signs to track radiation leaks, The engineering specialist has repurposed therapeutic adhesives for structural integrity, and their commander, he paused, searching for words. Their commander appears to be maintaining crew morale by making references to something called Monty Python while bleeding from multiple lacerations, Vextra supplied helpfully. Though he insists they're, quote, just flesh wound update research priorities, Xilax commended, his scientific curiosity overriding his instinct to intervene. How are they still alive? Secondary focus. Why are they laughing? Tertiary focus. What exactly is a flesh wound, and why do humans seem to have such a drastically different definition of it than any other known species? As if to punctuate his words, the humans' laughter echoed through their monitoring systems, followed by the medical officer's voice. If we survive this, I'm writing a paper. 101 unauthorized uses for medical supplies in space. It'll either win me a Nobel Prize or get my license revoked. Maintain observation protocols, Krillig ordered, settling in for what promised to be either the most enlightening or most disturbing research opportunity of their career. And someone please start a separate log for tracking the increasing number of ways these humans are violating the laws of physics. For posterity, all right. Let's take inventory, Sarah announced, dumping the contents of the first aid kit onto what remained of the medbay's examination table. We found over-adhesive bandages, 3 rolls of medical tape, a bottle of aspirin, 2 emergency thermal blankets, 1 pack of gauze, antiseptic wipes, a dermal regenerator with 15 charge, and she held up a small tube, antibacterial cream that expired 2 years ago. Maya grabbed the aspirin bottle, examining it with unsettling intensity. Perfect. The internal pressure mechanism in this cap could work as a replacement valve for the atmospheric regulators. That's not, Sarah began. If you say that's not how that works one more time. Maya interrupted, already dismantling the bottle. I'm going to remind you about the laws of physics and how we're currently ignoring all of them and somehow still breathing. Commander Rodriguez limped in, still refusing treatment for what he insisted was barely a sprain. Status report, ladies. We're going to die, Sarah said cheerfully. We're going to science. Maya countered. Same thing at this point, Sarah muttered. It's a vessel scientific pursuit of knowledge. They're doing what with the medication container? Vextra scales had shifted to a previously undocumented shade of distress. Fascinating, Xilax murmured, recording frantically. They've somehow modified a simple pressure release mechanism to regulate their entire atmospheric system. It should absolutely not function. The materials aren't compatible, the pressure differentials are completely wrong, and a new alert flashed across their screens. Oh no. What now? Krillax demanded. Radiation leak detected in their engine section. Lethal levels. They'll have to abandon that entire deck. They watched as the humans huddled around their monitors. The good news, Maya announced, is that I've isolated the radiation leak. And the bad news? Sarah asked, already reaching for the thermal blankets with a look of grim determination. The bad news is that it's between us and the engine controls we need to access to prevent the core from going critical in, about 40 minutes. Perfect. James clapped his hands together. Maya, how are those radiation suits coming along? Maya held up what appeared to be 3 human-shaped cocoons fashioned from emergency thermal blankets, medical tape, and optimism. They'll work for about 10 minutes before the radiation starts to penetrate. That's not. Sarah caught herself. You know what? Sure, why not? We're already using an aspirin bottle to breathe. Let's wrap ourselves in foil and dance through a radiation field. This might as well happen. For a U-search vessel scientific pursuit of knowledge, I need a moment, Vextra announced, excusing herself from the observation deck. The sound of hysterical keening could be heard from the corridor. The thermal reflective properties of their emergency blankets are providing approximately 40 side of the radiation protection of a standard radiation suit. Xilax noted, his voice only slightly higher than normal. This is, technically speaking, impossible, added to the list. Krillix sighed. watching as the humans wrapped themselves like exotic food products and prepared to enter a lethal radiation field. Maya, Sarah called out, watching as the engineer used their last roll of medical tape to seal a hull breach. When we get out of this, we're having a long talk about the definition of medical supplies versus construction materials. Can't talk now, Maya shouted back, her voice muffled through her thermal blanket suit. Doing impossible things with tape, Commander Rodriguez appeared around the corner, carrying what appeared to be the dermal regenerator. Good news. I figured out how to reverse the polarity on this thing. We can use it to cauterize the damaged electrical systems. Sarah's laughter took on a slightly concerning edge. You want to use a medical device designed to heal human tissue, to fix electrical systems? Already working. James called out cheerfully as sparks flew and the lights briefly stabilized. I'm going to need so much therapy after this, Sarah muttered, watching as Maya began applying antibacterial cream to a corroded circuit board. Assuming we survive, which against all logic and reason, we somehow keep doing. Research vessel, scientific pursuit of knowledge, update to observation log. Xilax dictated, his professional demeanor cracking slightly. The humans have now violated approximately 157 known laws of physics, 23 engineering principles, and every single safety protocol in the galactic database. They are currently using a device designed to accelerate skin cell regeneration to repair complex electrical systems. It is working. We don't know why it's working. The medical officer appears to be having what they call a nervous breakdown while simultaneously calculating complex survival probabilities. The engineer is she using antibacterial medication on their computational systems? The commander just quoted something called Apollo 13 and suggested they could science the shit out of this. Krillax added helpfully. I believe this is some form of human ritual encouragement. Their survival chances have actually increased by 12 in the last hour, Vextra noted, having returned to her post though still slightly purple. This defies all known laws of probability. I'm beginning to think, Xilax said slowly, watching as the humans celebrated yet another impossible repair with what appeared to be their last intact aseptic wipe, that we may need to reconsider our understanding of what is and isn't possible. For their monitors, they could hear the medical officer's voice. For the record, I would like to state that nothing we have done in the last 3 hours should have worked. Nothing. And yet, she paused as the ship's systems hummed with something approaching stability. And yet here we are, breathing through an aspirin bottle, protected from radiation by emergency blankets and running our electrical systems on repurposed medical equipment. I hate everything about this. But it works. The engineer's voice chirped. That just makes me hate it more. The aliens watched in collective bewilderment as the humans continued their impossible survival, held together by medical supplies, determination, and what appeared to be spite against the laws of physics themselves. Add a new category to our research parameters, Krillax ordered. Title, It's Human Improvisation, or Why the Universe Has Given Up Trying to Make Them Follow the Rule. The ship's emergency lighting flickered ominously as multiple alerts screamed for attention. Sarah stared at their dwindling supplies. 2 bandages, half a roll of medical tape, 3 antiseptic wipes, and an empty aspirin bottle that was somehow still keeping them breathing. So Maya announced, bursting onto the bridge, her thermal blanket radiation suit now held together mostly by hope. I have good news and bad news. Bad news first, James ordered, trying to hold 2 sparking wires together with his bare hand. The engine core is about to go critical. Life support is failing in 3 sections. We have a cascading power failure spreading through all decks, and that hull breach we fixed with medical tape is starting to make suspicious noises. Sarah raised an eyebrow. And the good news? Maya held up an antiseptic wipe with manic glee. I have an idea that's going to make you cry. As a Krantz vessel scientific pursuit of knowledge, we have to intervene, Vextra insisted, her scales now cycling through colors previously thought impossible for their species. Their ship is experiencing simultaneous failures in all major systems. Our projections show total destruction in approximately 20 Earth minutes. Wait, Xilax held up a hand, staring at the monitors. The medical officer is, "What do you hold my coffee?" Sarah said, pulling on a pair of surgical gloves she'd been saving for actual medical emergencies. "Maya, I need you to reconfigure the dermal regenerator to create a focused energy beam. James, get ready to redirect power from life support to the engine containment field. I'm about to do something that will get my medical license revoked in at least 12 systems." She began carefully deconstructing their remaining medical supplies, separating components with surgical precision. The adhesive compound in these bandages, when combined with the sterilizing agents in the antiseptic wipes, creates a temporary molecular bonding agent. "It won't last long. That's not how chemistry works." Maya interrupted excitedly. "I love it. Our research vessel's scientific pursuit of knowledge. They're not," Krill Aches whispered in horror. "They cannot possibly be attempting to—" "They are," Xilax confirmed, his scientific detachment crumbling. "They're creating a makeshift molecular stabilizer using adhesive bandages and sterilization products. This violates every known principle of chemical engineering. The human engineer has modified their medical device to emit a focused energy beam," Vextra reported, her voice faint. She's citing something called a MacGyver's as scientific precedent. "Their survival chances have dropped to 0.1, Krillax noted. "So they're definitely going to make it," Xilax sighed, "ready with that energy beam." Sarah called out, holding her jury-rig chemical compound. "Ready," Maya confirmed. "Though I feel compelled to mention that this definitely voids the warranty. Memes? Life support diverted. We've got about 3 minutes of air left, so, no pressure." He grinned manically. "Get it? Pressure? Because of the air? I'm going to sedate you if we survive this." Sarah promised, moving into position. "Maya, on my mark, hit the engine containment field with that beam. The molecular bonding agent should stabilize the breach long enough for the emergency systems to reset. Theoretically, assuming we don't all die horribly. Those are my favorite kinds of theories." Maya's finger hovered over the activation switch. Now, in research vessel scientific pursuit of knowledge, the alien observers watched in stunned silence as the impossible unfolded before them. The focused energy beam from the repurposed medical device hit the engine containment field precisely as the makeshift molecular bonding agent was introduced. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, defying every known law of physics, chemistry, and common sense, the containment field stabilized. "How?" Vextra whispered. "Added to the list." Xilax replied weakly, "Did. Did that actually work?" Sarah stared at the readings in disbelief. "Hull breach sealed," Maya reported. "Engine containment stable. Power systems redistributing. We're good? We're actually good, though I never want to hear the words molecular bonding agents again. The fact that worked has broken something fundamental in my understanding of the universe," Sarah declared, slumping against a wall. "I'm either the most brilliant or most irresponsible medical professional in human history. Possibly both." James clapped them both on the shoulders. "Ladies, I believe what we've done here today is prove that anything is possible with enough medical supplies, blind panic, and a complete disregard for the laws of physics." Speaking of medical supplies, Sarah glanced at their now empty first aid kit. "We have exactly one bandage left. Try not to break any more fundamental scientific principles for at least an hour." Research vessel scientific pursuit of knowledge. Final update to crisis observation log. Xilax dictated, his professional tone. "The humans have successfully prevented a total ship failure using one dermal regenerator converted into an energy beam emitter, 2 adhesive bandages combined with antiseptic wipes to create a theoretically impossible molecular bonding, and what appears to be pure spite against the concept of inevitable death. Should we still be calculating their survival chances?" Vextra asked hesitantly. "I don't think mathematics wants anything to do with them anymore," Krillax replied. Through the monitors, they heard the human medical officer's voice. "I would like to formally request that no one ever tell another medical professional what we just did. I'm pretty sure we just invented at least 3 new violations of medical ethics. But we're alive. The engineer chirped again. That just makes it worse. The alien observers watched as the humans celebrated their impossible victory. Their ship held together by improvised medical solutions and what could only be described as sheer audacity. Update research priorities, Zalax ordered. New primary focus. How do we update our understanding of the universe to account for whatever? Bold of you to assume the universe understands what just happened either, Krillax muttered, watching as the humans began arguing about whether their solution qualified as medicine or engineering or a war crime against physics itself. Is that Sarah squinted at their long-range sensors, which were currently being powered by a combination of their last bandage and what Maya swore was totally safe electrical routing through the dermal regenerator rescue ship. Maya confirmed, bouncing on her toes. The USS Medical Miracle. They picked up our emergency beacon. You mean the one you made by reversing the polarity of my medical scanner and boosting the signal with the power cell from the expired antibacterial cream? Sarah asked dry. Look, it worked, didn't it? Commander Rodriguez straightened his thermal blanket radiation suit, which was now more holes than blanket. Right? Everyone try to look professional. We don't want them thinking we... The rescue ship's first transmission cut him off. SS Stubborn Mule. This is Captain Chen of the Medical Miracle. Our scans indicate is that an aspirin bottle being used as an atmospheric regulator? No, Sarah answered immediately. Yes, Maya said at the same time. Maybe? James offered as a compromise. A long pause followed. Instinct view molecular bonding agent. Though next time, try adding a catalyst. We found that ibuprofen works better than aspirin for makeshift atmospheric systems. Sarah's eye twitched. Next time, her vessel scientific pursuit of knowledge. They're exchanging repair techniques, Vextra whispered in horror. The rescue team is complementing their improvised solutions. This is normal for them. This is normal for... Note for the record. Zalax muttered, watching as the rescue team casually discussed the various medical supplies they'd successfully repurposed for engineering purposes over the years. Humans don't just survive impossible situations. They document them. They improve upon. The rescue team's chief engineer walked through their jury-rig systems, nodding appreciatively. Pretty standard stuff until you got to the molecular bonding agent. That was clever. Though next time, try using the backing from the adhesive bandages separately. You get better molecular cohesion that way. Maya scribbled notes frantically. Of course. The paper backing would provide a more stable... Please stop encouraging this, Sarah interrupted. I'd like to maintain at least the illusion that medical supplies should be used for medical purposes. Speaking of which, the rescue team's medical officer chimed in. That thing you did with the dermal regenerator. Brilliant. I'm adding that to our emergency procedures manual. No, Sarah moaned. No. We are not institutionalizing these violations of medical ethics. Too late. Maya sang out. I've already written up the technical specs, a classified report in Galactic Research Council, your project. Human Survival Strategies, X 7249.3. In summary of observation, over a period of 33 standard hours, 3 human crew members survived catastrophic ship failure using only basic medical supplies and what they refer to as spite. This observational study has forced us to reconsider several fundamental principles of physics, engineering, and the nature of reality itself. Your working year RTVM, humans display an alarming ability to repurpose medical equipment. Adhesive bandages can apparently seal hole breaches, cast. Aspirin bottles make functional atmospheric regulators. Dermal regenerators can be modified into energy beam emitters. Emergency blankets serve as adequate radiation protection. Their success rate defies statistical analysis. 2. Human problem-solving methodology appears to be identify problem, declare solution impossible, attempt solution anyway. Succeed through means that violate known laws of physics, document success for future reference, call this process winging it. 3. Human psychological responses. Stress appears to enhance their creative problem-solving abilities. Laughter increases proportionally with danger. ease. They develop attachment to demonstrably unsafe engineering solutions. Notice their medical officer's psychological stability requires further intimation. 1. Immediate review of all human medical technology for potential military applications. 2. Revision of impossible as a scientific term when dealing with 3. Mandatory psychological support for non-human observers of human problem solving. 4. Classification of human first aid kits as engineering equipment. Sign. Main further study of human resilience recommended. Warning. May cause severe anxiety in non-human observers. Secondary warning. Humans appear to be collecting and sharing these survival techniques. Exercise extreme. The humans have submitted their own report titled 101 Unauthorized Uses for Medical Supplies in Space. A Practical Guide to Improbable Survival. The Galactic Medical Ethics Board is currently having an existential crisis. Submitted, Chief Researcher Zalak, currently on medical leave for reality reconciliation therapy. On Earth. 3 months later, Sarah stared at the commendation on her wall, then at the revised Galactic Safety Protocols Manual on her desk, which now included a section titled Emergency Medical Supply Engineering Applications. I hate everything about this, she announced to no one in particular. Somewhere in the distance, she could hear Maya gleefully teaching a workshop on advanced applications of adhesive bandages in spacecraft repair. The universe, Sarah decided, had a twisted sense of humor.